Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamers, session number 5. We're discussing the latest news, fun stuff, and dropping some knowledge as usual. So don't forget, this is a 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe, so let's take it too seriously. But let's dive in and, enjoy. Hey guys, welcome Felix and welcome Jakub.
Hello there.
How was your week?
Very busy week. White nights and then games forum.
You were around. So how was the conference face-to-face experience?
Actually really good. It was nice actually to see people again. Good knowledge of both conferences. I think games forum was a bit more applicable to what I actually do, but yeah, conference season is back.
Well, then the Pocket Gamer is next, I guess. Well, it's gonna take some time until I get back to the conferences loop. What can we do? My daughter is keeping me busy, and I definitely want to stay out of any COVID situation and bringing COVID home. Felix, I guess you are not definitely scared.
I have triple vax and I've had COVID. It's time to not live in fear anymore.
I know, but you can still get it anyway. So.
Yeah, don't worry. There will be variants as usual.
Yeah. Let's not get into
of
COVID dark hole. Maybe we should just give a brief outline what we're going to talk about today and what kind of knowledge we're going to be sharing. I think today's your topic.
Sure thing. So going to touch Apple enables crypto payments. PUBG Studio uses NFTs in UGC-driven open metaverse, whatever that means. And Fire Emblem Heroes approaches 1 billion revenues. Kai May Visa Points, former Pokemon Go product manager. And then some other news. Also, Zynga plans to release its first NFT game this year. I mean, that's pretty huge. And, most interesting fact from last week, like report by 2026, it's predicted 25% of people will spend an hour a day in the metaverse.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means as well. And then some knowledge from our side. You're going to talk about 3 stages of soft launch. Well, soft launch is my favorite topic, so let's dive into that after the news. So let's start with the Apple. So what do we have there, Felix?
So arguably, this is probably the biggest news I've read so far. That's not an acquisition. So yesterday, a press release from Apple announced that they're going to be having their tap to pay feature for the iPhone, and that will essentially enable merchants to facilitate transactions using a simple tap, regardless of payment method. Why this is a big deal is the fact that Coinbase and Crypto.com have come out with their own debit cards, which means that indirectly, now you'll be able to pay with Apple Pay using crypto. So how that works is that Coinbase and Crypto.com, they convert it to dollars, like upon that, charge a little fee, and then, you can pay for your Mountain Dew in a corner shop with, your Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Do I get it right that it kind of converts it to dollars during the transactions itself?
Exactly, yeah. And I'm assuming these nice little companies here take a nice little fee from that conversion as well.
Well, of course they should. I mean, you can also take money out of the ATM with that debit card. They will convert it in the ATM, and you can take dollars right away.
Isn't this the part when it converts to dollars when you need to pay taxes on those?
Ooh, that's an interesting point. I didn't think about that actually. Yeah, if you're getting gains there with crypto and you're realizing it, you will be liable for tax, potentially, especially in the States where they charge a crypto tax.
Yeah, we also have a crypto tax here locally, so I'm just curious because this brings like a lot of legal implications.
I think you bring up an interesting point there because Apple is so specific about how they conduct themselves, and they always dip their toes in lightly to see how it goes down. And I would argue that this is probably Apple's way of dipping their toe in and seeing exactly what kind of response they're going to get and what the legal implications could be without actually going full into crypto. And I believe, or if thinking about like incentives from Apple, this has everything to do with South Korea and Netherlands with kind of the upcoming or the lawsuits that have been going on there. And I think Apple sees that their margins, which are really important that they get from the App Store, are being threatened, and this is kind of the first foray into how to allow crypto onto their ecosystem so they can also earn money from it.
Yeah, but if I get it right, Apple will have nothing to do pretty much with the crypto part here, as only dollars will be coming to them. So it's pretty much sorry your own troubles, Coinbase and crypto.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think about it, it's kind of genius. If I'm assuming they've done this on purpose because they don't do anything without a purpose.
Of course.
Exactly.
Of course. There's only one purpose.
They definitely thought this through, but basically they'll let Coinbase and Crypto.com take all the heat, see how it happens, and it's the end of 2022, and I guess maybe 2 years down the line they'll be ready to come out with their own crypto product, something like that.
Yeah, that's the really important word there, that it's indirect payment.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I've already seen a lot of Twitter and LinkedIn hype about this, and like probably nothing comments, and let's fucking go, and all these crypto
enthusiasts,
phrases.
Crypto curious people.
Not crypto curious. Okay, so here Jakub, he said that if you are crypto curious, then you are not crypto fan or enthusiast, or you're not even the crypto skeptic. So you're something in the middle, and not taking any stand. So it's like that's apparently called crypto curious.
I thought it was called being
I'm
Switzerland.
Not sure. or Switzerland. Well, let's go to PUBG. PUBG Studio. It's there. They want to use NFTs in their UGC Dream Open Metaverse, whatever that means. This is an article.
As states the article.
PC Gamer.
PC Gamer.
Okay, PC Gamer. Yeah, PC Gamer. PC Gamer is always. They're definitely crypto skeptics from all their articles. But apparently, Krafton is going forward in NFT projects, and this announcement most probably doesn't have anything to do with the
PUBG IP.
PUBG IP, and they signed a deal with a company called NaverZ, the operator of the metaverse platform. Well, Zepeto, whatever that is, to develop the new Web3 and the NFT project aimed at building an NFT metaverse platform. I mean, all the crypto buzzwords are there, and they said that this is going to be the creation tool for the generation content creation. I mean, seriously, what's that going to be about?
So sound to me like an order by Krafton to NaverZ to build a crypto Roblox.
Crypto Roblox. And what exactly
you need to unpack
is
that, Remo, yeah.
It's a UGC-driven metaverse, of course. Because Roblox actually is a UGC-driven metaverse in itself.
Okay, well, not sure if that's going to happen, but let's see.
I mean, it's still a big deal that PUBG is announcing something like this. It's just kind of, jumping
I
on the back
wouldn't
of
say
everything.
is that big of a big deal. Like big companies are announcing NFT projects left and right currently, and they're backtracking the next day sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised if nothing comes out of this.
But I don't think Krafton will actually.
Krafton needs to jump on the NFT train and present itself with an angle, and then they can check market in their book and continue, I would say.
Yep. Okay. Let's see what happens.
Some mobile game news, apparently.
Oh, really?
So Fire Emblem Heroes is approaching 1 billion in revenue. Congratulations. The game's launched from February 2017, and it's currently the most successful mobile game in Nintendo's portfolio, which is kind of surprising a little bit, but on the other hand, it's not, as it's like a typical Asian heavy free-to-play gacha game, which Asian games are kind of famous for. So this is an interesting tidbit, but it's pretty much just a continuation of a trend that's been there. I don't think so Nintendo really keen on getting full-fledged into free-to-play as they always were. We all remember the Super Mario Run, whatever that was. I think it was called Free to Start by that age. And
died immediately after.
But I still would say like the company is not very keen into getting into free to play at all, and they have their like really good profitable divisions with all the like hype around Nintendo Switch, their console, and their normal gaming lineup, their Pokemon IP. So I guess it's more of a we tried. We have like one really successful story that's making so much money, and that's it, I guess.
What were they thinking? I mean, with the free,
I think for Nintendo, their IPs are much more valuable for brand perspective, so they don't want to tarnish them in free to play. That's I would say would be their like paradigm here.
Okay, and then like the free to start is the way to go.
Yeah,
right.
At least at that time it was.
At that time it was.
I'm a bit curious.
It's so
I'm
bad.
a bit curious about it. So this game is obviously like quite a hardcore title, correct?
Yeah, it's a typical like a gacha game. You know, RPG. You play through the game and get heroes from a gacha that you don't know what you get.
Yeah. How do you do UA like for these games that are quite hardcore on iOS right now? Like it must be so much harder than it was 2-3 years ago.
Well, of course, it is way harder. I mean, it's still if you can get some signals on day one or day three, even very little of them, then that's gonna help you with the initial UA, and then you can build an LTV predictions out of that. So I know these games are monetized way after day 30, 60, 90, but it's still you can implement something into the first session in terms of the monetization. I mean, that's why the UA and product teams or game teams are pretty much working alongside each other just to figure this out.
Don't forget that there's this one big change between the other games. This is a Japan household name, which means in Japan you have so much offline advertising for mobile games.
Yeah.
It's like you've never seen these things before and you never will see this anywhere else.
Yep. That's the other thing. I mean, they're pretty big there. Even if you count all the revenues outside of Japan, it's not going to be even like 30% of of the Japanese revenues.
Just the one example with the Monster Strike game where they're pretty much shut down the international servers and they were still making 1 billion just from Japan. So what?
Yeah. And that's a really good point. I mean, in Japan and other countries like this, the traditional UA is one thing, but like all out of home TV and everything else is just even bigger.
Like looking just briefly at the charts here, the game is making around 6.5 to 7 million a month, and pretty much 3.5 of that is coming from Japan only.
Nice.
It would be bigger, but yeah.
But keep in mind, it's already 5 years old.
Yeah, but is this really small game, dude?
Yeah, fair enough.
7.5 million a month.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm just wondering.
After 5 years. After 5 years.
Yeah, after 5 years, it's a 5-year-old game.
I'm just wondering, like, is this a good use case for like Apple Search Ad for gaming? I know it's hard to scale there, but I'm assuming for hardcore games it must be quite useful UA channel, correct?
How is that a useful channel for any game? Except branding keywords. I mean, the Apple Search Ads for games is absolutely terrible. The brand keywords are kind of working just for you to defend some organic traffic so your competitor don't steal that. But except that, I mean, yes, you can run the very broad keywords, but it's going to be really expensive. But also, of course, like if you have deep pockets, then you don't care. Then you can just flood your whole Japanese app store with all your Apple Search Ads campaigns. But most probably not going to
keep in mind that these games, they live on really, really small audiences. Like I'm looking in the charts here and it's like 30K, 20K download a month for a whole game that's making 7.5 million. So like
yeah,
that's what you get when you get into Japanese segment. Like the LTVs and like all the KPIs are pretty much crazy different.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised you didn't mention your not Pokemon Go, but
Dragon
your
Quest
Japanese. Yeah, Dragon Quest game. We are always keen to mention.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but that's normal.
Right.
That's normal. Japan
I
works
know.
differently in mobile gaming.
Well, China as well.
Yeah.
So all the Asia.
Okay, continuing on the trend here with Nintendo IPs. So Sky Mavis said that they appoint a former Pokemon Go product manager to Axie Infinity to be a game product lead called Philip La. And I guess the expectation for everybody else is to kind of fix the economy. At least that would be my expectation.
Yeah, that would be my expectation as well. I mean, I was really positive about this change, but then you definitely
What, stole your win?
said, yeah, definitely, because I'm not sure how product lead can be also the economy designer, or well, obviously he can be, but it's not going to be that easy to correct
The
whole
problem
economy.
there is that, when you have things on chain, you cannot just say like, okay, we're rebalancing it and stuff
this
like
is
that.
going to
And
be
people
that,
will learn this the hard way in this industry, it seems.
Okay, then what? But what would you do in that case? I mean, what change the smart contract, or how does
No,
that
like
work?
that needs to stay the same. Like you cannot change that. The problem is that with the excess resources in the economy, like there's so many cats there, and there's so many like their currency called love potion.
Cats, you mean Axis?
Axes themselves, because they have the mechanisms that Axes or the cats can pretty much breed only 7 times with increasing amounts of resources for each kind of breed. And then after that, they are sterile pretty much. So they cannot breed anymore, but they can still fight and kind of harvest resources for you. And this is the problem, that, you still have the remnant of the cats there that people can use to farm. And then their love potion, the smooth love potion thing, is also accumulating pretty hard in the economy. And it's not being burned away fast enough. So yeah, they can still introduce a lot of these like sinks into the economy that, I think they even introduced something lately that you can like combine cats and burn them out to get something else or something. But yeah, it's kind of hard to justify if the cat itself costs like $200-$300. So,
Well, now I know the cost is $300. So if you want to start, you need 3, I think, and then you need to invest $1,000. But I know some people invested like 8,000 back in days when it was like really the hype. So now they're like, oh well, I guess it's investment for experience and knowledge rather than
there will be so
making
much
some money.
investments for experience and knowledge. Like that's I think one of the problems with this whole like frothy market that we have there, that people weren't burnt yet at all.
Oh, well, to a certain degree, yes. I mean, the Axie Infinity hype was so big, 4 months ago?
Like, of course, like
Now
if you
they're
check the volume on
pretty much
Radar,
declining.
it's like nothing compared to like how it was peaked, how it has peaked in November or October.
I'm trying to find one article where it was mentioned what they did in the last update. And yeah, there's season 20 update for Axie Infinity, actually. And they said the token skyrockets is over 50% after season 20 update.
Yeah, they went up a little bit, but just went up from their current
that's the thing.
baseline.
A little bit is definitely way far from skyrockets.
To the moon,
Yeah, to the moon. Yeah, that's true.
Do you think you can actually salvage the Axie Infinity economy, or is it more kind of for Sky Mavis just a learning thing for their next game?
Salvage, like get back to the peak values? No, I don't think so.
Because he's a crypto skeptic. That's the thing. I mean, I do think they can salvage that, because I'm always
I don't think so. They can salvage that
in here
at all. It's more of a product of like at the time when it was at its height, it was the funnel into crypto games. Everybody was just talking about Axie, so everybody wanted to even check it out and get the knowledge investment. But nowadays, I guess it's a matter of a time when some kind of a new improved version comes out with whatever company does that, and people will kind of flock into it. And remember
That's the thing.
that then comes the effect I was talking about, that people can sell their stuff immediately on one crypto game and migrate to the other one, pretty much burning the economy of the previous one because they're not tied to it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like this whole Filipino market and tier 4 players that are now working as as Axie Infinity workers, that was not intentional, so that kind of happened.
Yeah, it was pretty much a social
So,
experiment.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I know there was the interview with the CEO, I think, on the Constructor of Fun, and they said like, look, so the game is very far from being finished. So, I mean, they still have something in their pipeline. So I don't think like the game is going to die. I mean, obviously, it's going to be very hard to get the numbers they had in October, November last year, but still. You know,
Of
they are
course
raising.
it can continue. But the question is like, if you are asking about the hourly earn rate for an average like scholar, like that's gonna go down.
Okay. And also, what's gonna go down is, I guess, a Ubisoft because of their NFT experiment as well. So now they're trying to bring Rabbit's IP, I mean, whatever, to the Sandbox metaverse. And the Sandbox announced that I think a couple of days ago they're partnering with Ubisoft to bring this IP and some others to its gaming metaverse. And Ubisoft is creating its land in the game to offer interactive experiences with rabbits and other characters in the future. So good luck, Ubisoft. I mean,
the
I'm not sure
Ubisoft
why.
NFT crusade continues.
Let's just
Yeah,
see
I'm
if they
not
can
sure
learn
why.
from their mistakes from last time, and if a $4 billion company can actually learn quickly, or if
But
it's
this
just
is
destined to make the
this
same
is
mistakes
the exact
again.
thing you were talking about.
Yeah, the
It's
same
the
thing.
knowledge investment because the IP isn't so big. They're not putting their
Exactly.
Assassin's Creed or something big in their portfolio. They're just giving this random IP lying somewhere and let's see what happens.
Tier 3 IP, nobody knows what the rabbits are, and now they are trying to do this in Sandbox. So I get it when Snoop Dogg is building his hacienda in Sandbox just out of fun because he can. But like Ubisoft doing this,
I remember
Again,
when
after
they,
the
when they
NFT.
put them into Oculus or something like that. And like again, like it's that pretty much guinea pig IP that you can smash anywhere and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, well, good luck,
Best of luck to
Ubisoft.
you.
Okay, continuing further, more metaverse stuff. Bandai Namco announced that they will invest 96 million pounds into IP metaverse. Which people need to figure out from the announcement. It's pretty much the publisher plans to spend millions on virtual space that connects a number of its brands. Strategy includes building virtual space to accommodate 3 goals: connecting with fans, enhancing IP value, and improving its global presence to drive sales outside of Japan. So we have the metaverse buzzword there. Pity I haven't seen any crypto in it. That's like we missed that.
Well,
But yeah, let's see.
Unfortunately.
Like they have a lot of good IP there. I definitely agree with the last point there in the article that they would need to enhance their presence outside of Japan because it's like a Japan household name.
yeah, now you're going to do it with the metaverse.
Yeah.
Outstanding move. Outstanding move.
It's just
Ah,
It's just
my
super
God.
weird.
Okay.
Like it seems that Japanese gaming market is so contrarian to the Western market because while we're consolidating, they still have 5-6 big gaming companies that are independent of each other.
But it's not that easy, like acquiring a Japanese gaming company.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's like the whole thing that like current market is talking about, like Microsoft acquiring Activision or Sony acquiring Bungie. I don't think so. It would happen so smoothly in Japan. Like if somebody comes in and, for instance, acquires Gunho, for instance, the Puzzle and Dragons publisher, or Mixi, Monster Strike one. Like I don't think so. This will happen at all.
Okay, well, you are the crypto skeptic and
Japanese consolidation
most
skeptic.
Yeah,
But it works differently. Like last time I was in Tokyo at like the Tokyo Game Show conference, you could see it like the thing works differently there.
Too bad you didn't bring your glasses there. Then you would fit almost immediately.
Yeah, that was the last time when Keanu Reeves was promoting Cyberpunk there.
Oh yeah. Nice. All right. Well, let's back to the Western companies, and now we can talk about Zynga plans to release its first NFT game this year. So there was this interview with Matt Wolf.
Bold words, I would say. Bold words.
Bold words, yeah. Bold interview, definitely bold interview, because they aim to build a team. The new blockchain game team, and now they're like 15 people, and they want to be 70 or 100 by the end of the year. Okay, good and bold plan as well. But now they're calling themselves a studio, so not a department, but they're a studio. That's definitely way more fancy than being a blockchain department. And they're hiring for several positions, including the creative director and tokenomics designer, of course. Tokenomics designer is now the most wanted position out
in
there
the gaming and crypto industry.
Exactly. So there was this hype like, we have all the money now we need to make it work, so we need the designer. We need the designer to do it for us. So hey, all the tokenomics designers out there, well, I guess there are none at the moment because it's a new position, right? So good luck. No, but yeah, okay. Back to the Zynga, because they also said that the part of the team's expansion will be, buying new studios, the acquisitions of new studios, and then partnering up with other companies. I guess that's what they did with Forte, right?
At least they announced.
At least they announced, yeah. And but now there's the most interesting part. So Zynga's early blockchain games will target players familiar with the genre and who may not be looking for robust gameplay. So, and then Matt Wolf said, and this is really interesting, so when they enter into one of these products, they come at it from an investor or whale point of view. So they're interested in a specific elements, including yield. So, of course, there are like different types of blockchain players. But now he said that they are only looking for making games for investors or the players that are going to trade NFTs, buy and sell for profit.
Yeah, he even said that later. So,
He
believes current blockchain gamers find their fun in owning and selling of an NFT items.
Yep. So the last thing that he said, they don't want to bring them something that they didn't ask for. So, they don't want to be the next Ubisoft, obviously. And it is so funny. I mean, I still think he has no idea what he's talking about. Seriously.
Does anyone really know what they're talking about, though, right now? I mean, it's the gold rush.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Wait, with the metaverse part, like, I think nobody knows. But with this part, at least people know a little bit because, you have the reference point in Axie, for instance. And still the whole point of this is that you need to design the game in a way that it makes sense for both. But if, like, what he's pretty much saying is that we're designing an investment product.
Yeah.
But investment product means that it needs to have long-term value because you're investing in it.
See, they just what they can do is just to create a set of NFTs or like NFT gallery, put it on OpenSea, and then just drive traffic there. That's it. It's like, seriously, why do they need to do anything on their side if they want to do this?
I still think like the successful crypto games will be the ones where you have like 90 or 80% of people engaging with the game, and then 15 to 10 or whatever, like a small number of people trying to corner the market, trade, and like do the crypto part. Because you have the normal distribution in like even the current games. Like there's lots of people that enjoy like trading World of Warcraft auction house all the time. Like it's there like 90% of gameplay they do just this. That's completely normal. But then you have the rest of those, which is the most of the game in itself, which gives the items actual value because they want them to actually play the game. And it seems like this part was omitted out of this. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, let's see. But as you said, the crypto layer will be still only the layer and the part of the whole game, and the real part, or like the majority of the game, will be just the normal gameplay and designed by game designers, and then the crypto layer on top of it.
But this is the other part that kind of confuses me, that people still think that the games needs to have this investment layer on top of it, like the governance tokens, the staking tokens, like all these pretty much financial instruments built into the game. Because if we take the World of Warcraft auction guy, there's no instruments. It's pretty much just currencies and like items that are floating around in the economy. And, you want them, you get them, you farm them, you sell them. But here it's pretty much like a full-fledged investment functionality that people are looking for.
But that's the thing. You want to build a game for a broad audience, so you have multiple types of the gamers there. So we have the workers from Philippines.
That's understandable. I know what you mean, but I'm saying some of the crypto games, they invest 90% of their development time into just this, and then you have a gameplay of like character going in an idle animation on a screen, doing nothing.
It looks like shit. I know. Yeah, I know. But that's what I told you, I think, during the week. I mean, this is the year when I think a lot of the games are going to be released, and then we'll see 50% of them is going to be
90.
shit. Because 90. Or 90, okay, 90. Well, that was your call. I said it's going to be 50%. They are going to be playable, actually, by players. And everything else is going to be, looking like shit, and then you can't play it, and then you will be just buying and selling NFTs just for profit, and that's it. And then that's why a lot of people think that still like crypto games is a lot of scam and Ponzi
I don't
schemes.
think we're going to have a successful crypto game until you take speculation out of it. You don't hold US dollars when you go to America because you think they're going to appreciate when you're over there. You need to do that to have a healthy economy, even in the game as well. So remove the speculation part, and that's when you can actually might make something interesting.
I just don't believe that people will pretty much switch to inferior form of entertainment just because they're all into this crypto hype train. Everybody wants to have fun, and you don't want to be grinding your stuff in like a 2-pixel character for 8 hours a day. So for me, it's just a matter of time.
All right, should we leave the crypto meta layer and go back to Earth and talk about some
something exactly
some dollar money game themes? So US mobile gamers spent $4.4 billion on money-themed games in 2021. So that's the highest grossing games theme in 2021. And the money and treasure theme includes games such as Coin Master, Boingo Blitz, and rumor has it actually that I'm hearing the rumor that last year Moon Active made 1.4 billion roughly from Coin Master. So, that's more than 25% of that is Coin Master, which is quite impressive. And
that's pretty good.
I mean,
I like the streets you're walking in, because they're definitely way better rumors than what Jakub said two sessions ago. He's definitely walking the Slovakian streets, and it's not that
by the way,
great for rumors.
One context for this article. This just exactly proves my point. People are playing a game about virtual money that they don't ever get, and it makes them happy.
Okay. There you go. Mister, that proves my point.
Don't know how much I can add to that, but kudos to them. Are we moving on to our soft launch segment?
No, whoa.
Oh, yeah, we skipped one. Yeah.
There's there's the fastest growing theme in terms of the revenue.
This is important.
This is really, really important because the theme was animal/insect theme, and that generated like 26.5 million, which represents an increase of 904% year over year. And Sensor Tower attributes this majority of this growth to the this game, and this game is absolutely amazing. The Ants, the Underground Kingdom from Star Union, accounted for almost 90% of the consumer spending. The second fastest growing theme was fashion, aesthetics, and hair. I guess that was like Project Makeover right there. So the Ants, Underground Kingdom, those creatives, I'm not sure if you saw those, Felix, on Facebook or Instagram. That's absolute gold.
Yeah, they're hilarious, basically.
Really, like they're attacking the players' emotions. I mean, it's a Forex game, so all those creators had nothing to do with the real gameplay, but still, it's really great. So you can imagine like 4 ants just are going into the forest, and then there's a frog. Obviously, the frog eats 1 ant. All those 3 ants just run away. They found an electricity cable. They bring that cable to the frog, so they are just jumping around the electricity cable. Obviously, frog wants to eat them and then fries on that electricity cable. They take that frog into the underground kingdom, and then immediately all the kingdom upgrades, and then you have the ending screen. I mean, I laughed so hard on that craze, and this is only 1 out of like 10 you can see on Instagram like almost every day. So kudos, guys. This is really great game, really fun creatives. Definitely check it out.
Basically, somebody had the genius idea to reskin a Forex game into Ant Team, which was never done before, because all the Forex games are usually like, we have the newest one, which is like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, or like these big ones, all fantasy, I guess, swimming in those high CPIs, and I guess these guys kind of made it.
Yeah, definitely made it. And you have Warpath, which is also that type of game, but this is, I mean, like genius move. Right, let's move to the last report, which is the most interesting one.
Yeah. So there's a fresh report from VentureBeat from Gartner, that's published on VentureBeat, saying that by 2026, it's predicted that 1/4 of people will spend an hour per day in the metaverse. Whatever that means, but they have a photo of it there, of like...
They're the elements of metaverse.
The elements of metaverse. Is it like are they just calling the internet the metaverse, basically?
It looks like that, but there are these like NFTs, infrastructures, gaming, digital assets, workplace, shopping, and whatever else. It's just, basically covers the internet, but then you have the NFT layer on top of it.
So are they saying that, the hour, maybe a month I spend on Amazon will actually count towards my time spent in the metaverse?
Of course, and like I said before the recording, the Zoom and the Hangout, recording podcasts like here, like we are doing at the moment. Yeah, that's the metaverse, right?
Sounds to me like an accounting trick.
It really does, yeah. Well, I can tell Gartner that I already spend more than an hour a day in the metaverse.
I don't know. Like, for me, still the metaverse symbolizes some kind of 3D virtual space in a way that you can look into it through like a virtual glasses or something like that. So don't know about this.
So you are already in the metaverse.
Is that why you got the glasses, Remo?
Of course. I see the metaverse in the meantime through them.
Well, it's fine. Very good. All right, so should we just move on to the
well
to
done
the
on your clickbait, Gartner. Well done.
Yeah, well done. What we are not doing any clickbaits with the stages of the soft launch. I mean, the soft launch is very wide topic, but let's take the stages today, and let's talk about them a little bit more. But before we dive into the stages, there is always a discussion like, why would we actually need to soft launch a game? Well, we were working on the game for half a year, 1 year, and then, well, what the fuck? Let's just launch it. Yeah, guys, well, that's not how it works. I mean, you can do that, but then most probably without seeing any numbers prior to the global launch, well, you can spend a lot of money, and then after seeing the first
you
numbers,
lose the golden cohort.
Well, not only lose the golden cohort, you can go bankrupt quite easily, because, well, every developer thinks that their game is like amazing. Of course, it can happen, and congrats to everybody who actually did it.
It's amazing until it hits day one retention. That's the usual case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because before spending a lot of money, you need to be pretty sure that that money will be well spent. And with the soft launch, you're actually lowering the risk of your failure. You are collecting the players' feedback as well, trying to understand how your game works, what is the game performance as well, and then optimizing the first time user experience, like trying to A/B test tutorials or anything that can improve the numbers prior to the global launch, but also ultimately working on the marketing tests as well. So trying to get the data from different UA channels, different creatives, because different creatives have different retention profiles. The same applies for the UA channels, and the same thing with the LTV curves as well. So at the end of the soft launch, you want to achieve LTV higher than the CPI in the ideal state. Or you can aim for any day 7, day 14, day 30 ROAS, so return on ad spend, if you don't have enough data for the LTV curve to see how it actually improves over time. And if you are not able to achieve these, let's face that you can kill the game rather than just go to soft launch with your ego and spend a lot of money and then never see that money coming back. So that would be just why we do the soft launch. It's really important
to kill the game and
really
invest the time that we would spend in soft launch for another game.
Yeah, because that's the missed opportunity right there. We are trying to improve the game for 5 months, 6 months, not actually moving the needle at all, and you just fell in love with your game and your product. Of course, you can't kill it easily, but if you want to save the company, then you should kill the game and then move on. Well, yeah, I mean that's a discussion always that we need to have and always we need to think about. But let's dive into the stages of the soft launch. So I already mentioned that you need to be prepared before you start spending any money. So the first thing you can do is just to be sure that your data and tracking is working correctly. So the first stage would be the technical stage. Then we go to retention stage and then monetization stage, and then if everything is working correctly, then global launch, and then money and and live ops, right? But let's get back to the technical stage. So in this stage, you're focusing mostly on the data health and the crash rates and tracking in general. So you want to be 100%, maybe like 200% sure that you have no bugs or the critical bugs in the game. You identify that quite quickly and then fix it, and then move on to the retention stage. But in this technical stage, we only need 50 or 100 players just to be able to say if the tracking works correctly. So small amount of players, ideally in the tier 4 countries, so Philippines, Mexico, wherever else, because those countries have really low CPIs, and you don't want to spend $5 per player just
to test your infrastructure.
to check the infrastructure and the tracking. And you shouldn't be in this stage too long, because definitely wasting your time in here. So 1 week, 2 weeks tops maximum, just to check everything, then correct it if it's broken, and then
what are the most common issues you usually find at this stage? Is it
AppsLayer or MMP is not working correctly? You can't see installs in Facebook or in Google. The Firebase is broken as well. I mean, then there's a problem that you see 400 installs in Facebook, but 1,000 installs in AppsLayer.
You would be surprised how many companies suffer from data loss issues. I
mean, 9 out of 10 always I encountered that they had really data broken. And it's I need to just underline this again. This is really critical to be able to have the data correct and the data set up correct, because if you start spending money and then in the middle of the retention stage you find out that you're looking at the wrong data and corrupted data as well, then you just lost 4 months and a lot of money. So this is the most important part. I mean, not the most important part, but very important part.
It's the usual stuff where like this needs to work in order to do anything else, because we're in data-driven industry.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you're moving into the retention stage where you measure the day 1, day 3, day 7 retention, like the tutorial completion rate, like onboarding flow. You're trying to see how your first-time user experience or how does that work for your players. And if you're getting wrong data, then you're pretty much fucked.
The worst case that can happen here is that the team starts to doubt the data. That's like you definitely don't want to get in this scenario, because like bad data comes out, team starts to doubt it, that like it shouldn't be that bad, and you actually find out that it's bad. Then it's like the team won't believe the data at all from that point of view.
Yeah.
That's the worst case.
And you spend energy trying to fix all the data, and then everybody is on the edge. And it's like,
because that's the usual reaction. Like if bad
happy
data comes
about
out, there's like a little bit of denial always.
Yeah, of course. Like, oh well, this should be way better. There's something wrong with the data. Well, we did the data check already, so I'm sorry, but unfortunately, this is the case. Instead of like crying about how bad the data is, let's try to improve that, because that's why we are in the soft launch. I mean, I've seen very bad initial day 1, day 3, day 7 retentions, and then eventually we made it, and it was very successful global launch.
The data, they don't have emotions. Like it's pretty much
they don't lie.
Yeah, they don't lie at all.
They
Like
don't lie.
You've been building this thing for 6 months, and now you get a slap in your face because it has 20% day 1 retention. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. But also you need to measure also the day 1 to day 3 to day 7 ratio. And now this is pretty much far from reality, but you can get day 1 retention 20% and then day 7 15%,
which never happens.
This is not going to happen most probably, but which never happens. Yeah, but we had this case. We had 25 day one retention, and then day 60 was 8%. The most important part is also the UA, because we definitely need the user flow coming into the game to be able to measure everything properly. And in this case, I'm moving from the tier 4 countries into the tier 2 countries, which usually means any European countries like Poland, Netherlands, or Denmark. And one important thing to mention here, we already see quite a big increase in terms of retention between the Philippines or Mexico and the European countries, just
because of the quality of the traffic.
Yeah, by the nature of the traffic. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you see 10% 10% day one on Philippines, you will see 10% in Poland or Netherlands. It should be actually quite different. And what I can see is like a coefficient of 1.5 or maybe even like 2 when moving from tier 4 to tier 2 countries. So if you see 10 in Philippines, you can see 15 or 20. It's very well. I saw that on multiple games already, so definitely something that you can count with. And in this stage, I'm using mostly Facebook, but given the Facebook latest quality dips, I'm already trying to introduce Google as a UA channel and then Unity. Just also to be able to compare the data between those channels, because as we mentioned at the beginning, different UA channels have different retention profiles as well. So if you see low retention on Google, it doesn't mean the game is shit, but you can use the different optimization methods to bring more quality users.
How many users do you need at these various stages from the different geos, would you say?
No, I always try to aim for at least like 200 a day. Depends on what we are measuring. If we are aiming for day one retention, then 200 a day would be enough. If we are trying to get the read on the day 7, we might need more, because even though we have these benchmarks from the industry, like 40% day 1, 20% day 7, and 10% day 30. So
which like 99% of games don't have.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have it, but still, even like after first day, only 40% of your players in the best case scenario stays in the game. So if you have 200 a day, then you will end up with a very low amount of players on day 7. So definitely then aiming at least like 400, 500 a day, just to get a sense of what the day 7 looks like. And also in this stage, and I mentioned this just previously about the optimization. So I think we will need to have a UA fundamentals session where I will go through all these optimization shenanigans. But in this stage, usually you have the mobile app install optimization campaigns, but also moving into the app event optimized campaigns. We mentioned that on the previous podcast with Felix, the app event optimized campaigns, where we discussed the ad revenue events. But in this case, it's more like engagement events from the game. So tutorial completion or certain level achieved, like 10, 20 or something in the game, that indicates that your players are actually higher quality players. And then you can send these information back to Facebook or Google and optimize towards that. So this is something that definitely needs to happen in the retention stage, because good old days with mobile app install optimizations and quality players are long gone. So now the mobile app install optimization is widely used in the hyper casual space, and for games that you need to aim for very low CPIs. So that would be the case. But in here, we definitely need to aim for more quality players to be able to measure the retention properly.
Yeah. This is the part where most games die and are supposed to die and should die, actually.
Reba, you worked on many games soft launch. What's the most you've actually seen from changing the game mechanics that you can actually lift day 1, day 7, and day 30 retention?
In absolute values, I would say something in vicinity to 10 to 15% on day 1. It's always a diminishing return, so the lower you start, the higher you can go. That's like the usual. Assuming that everything works, of course, like there's no bugs and stuff like that we need to take out of the question in the previous stage, as Matej was talking. And then day 1 is pretty much the reflection of your core gameplay. So some games you end up with just a lower or higher value because that's how they are played and that's how they work. And you cannot do anything about it. That you reach a point where you won't make a dent to retention. Whatever feature you kind of try to slap on it. Increasing retention is definitely much more tougher than increasing monetization later. So if you don't have retention, don't even, you won't get there to monetization, but also think about it, of course, like monetization cannot be slapped and duct tape on top of it. That takes out of the question. But retention is really hard. And especially even if you get through the day 1 gate, that okay, your day 1 is good, the core gameplay is pretty much okay, people are moving into the game later down the line. Day 7 is your next kill point pretty much, which says that okay, you need to have some kind of meta game, goals, achievements, people need to know what they're doing, where they're striving for. And then there's the day 30, which usually is driven by social features. And then we are in a completely different beast then, because there are some parts of the game are responsible for some parts of the retention funnel. Let's say tutorials only work on your day 1. If you have excellent tutorial, it won't help you in your day 7. Your meta game needs to then again drive your day 7 to day 30. It won't help you in your day 1 at all, and so on and so forth. So there are specific parts of the game components that drive these, but I would say even getting through day 1 is just 90% games also die there. That's usually like that, unfortunately, because the market has crazy values nowadays. You see, let's say if we compare the latest trends on, let's say, the merge game genre, Like what, 60% day 1, 20% day 30? What are we talking about? So the numbers are crazy high, and keep in mind that the higher you can scale these, it means the higher those really expensive people that this marketing guy is driving to your game will stay there.
Yeah, this marketing guy also thinks that the merge games and the hype is, I guess, almost behind us. Also, like what you now see, the new merge games are most probably, they need to be, or need to have a new unique selling proposition rather than
they're
just merge
consolidating
games.
pretty heavily.
Yeah, because what you had like 6 months ago, like these retention profiles, that's perfect. But now, if you wanna get like investors on board or like make the game profitable, you need to have something innovative or like something as a plus one, and not like, well, this is a game. I mean, you can earn money, of course. I mean, to a certain degree, you can always
scale.
To a certain scale, you always can get thousands of revenues, but millions, most probably.
Yeah. You hit the ceiling on CPI.
USP. Yeah, then you need the USP pretty much, because, well, it's like there is already like 10 merge mention clones. Most probably they make some money, but never going to make the same amount of money as the merge mention. That's just how it is, because it's nothing innovative. But let's get back to the soft launch and the last stage, which is the monetization stage. So obviously, if we are satisfied with the retention, then we move towards the monetization KPIs like conversion rate to payment, LTV, lifetime value, return on ad spend, average revenue per user, average revenue per paying user, average revenue per DAU, so daily active user, then repeat purchases.
Yeah, second, third conversion.
Yeah, second, third conversion.
Breaks my heart you're not bringing up any ad metrics here, but all right.
Yeah, I know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Well, you already discussed that last time. So, ad revenue metrics as well from last session. So if you
we won't go into detail now.
They are. Yeah, if you need to know, just tune in the session 4. It's all there. Basically, jokes aside, in order to measure these type of KPIs, we need to move to tier 1 markets. Basically, why tier 1? Because of the payment behavior of the players. And when we compare, for example, Poland or Netherlands versus UK or Germany, then definitely more or high-paying players coming from UK and Germany rather than the smaller European countries. There can be some exceptions, but usually I go for the UK or Germany, not going to Canada or Australia anymore. I mean, those markets are super penetrated with a lot of soft launches.
Those were the golden days of soft launches before.
Last 10 years. So it's just like really competitive, really expensive. It doesn't make any sense to go there. I mean, a lot of people said in the past that Canada is very much similar to the US in terms of the payment behavior. I'm not sure that much. Yes and no. But also not in terms of not only the countries, but in terms of the optimizations. So I brought up the app event optimized campaigns for events from game. But in this stage, we need to measure the purchases and the payments and the payers. So now we are moving forward to the app event optimized campaigns for purchases. And later down the road, we might try the value optimization as well for like whales, but most probably that's going to happen after the global launch. In this case, it's going to be only for purchases, because the value optimized campaigns, you want to save that for your golden cohorts and after the golden cohorts as well.
Yeah, one important thing here is that you also need to measure the capacity and the manpower of your content treadmill. That's really important because global launch in itself is another stage that lasts into the live operation stage, and that is pretty much the end goal of your team. When the fun starts. Yeah, exactly. And you need to know how much how long it takes you to create new content from the game and then sell it, because The golden cohort, as we are talking about here, those are the most engaged players that starts the game from the initial global launch date, and they are your super fans basically, and they will eat through the content like there's no tomorrow. And you need to keep them in the game by giving them the content always, so they have still something to eat. Otherwise, they just churn. And that's the part where you need to at least test your live operations during the monetization stage, or at least plan it and be sure to like know that there will be something in the game, because this is also one of the like crucial mistakes that games made, that even though they went through all of these like suffering stages of soft launch and they made it and they're still alive, but then they come out and the team is pretty much exhausted and has nothing, in the pipeline, and the cohorts pretty much disappear because people play out to the basic content and they leave.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good after the global launch for first 30 days, 40 days, and then the content ends and suddenly the game is dead. It's like, and
numbers will always go down. That's usually the case, that if you don't start really small and scale like steadily, numbers from global launch will always go down in a way that like that's the natural flow. But you need to keep them at some kind of stabilized baseline value.
Yeah, it doesn't need to go down if you have enough content for like half a year maybe, because even if you scale right out of the gate to $1 million a month spent, and there is actually content that players can eat and then play, then you can sustain that growth still. But if you ramp up the spend at the beginning and then after 30 days there's nothing that they will do, then of course, you need to scale back, because it doesn't make sense to aim for 6 months or 1 year payback period when there is no content and like the retention profile or like the long-term retention is not there. So you will see after day 30 or day 60 like there's 1% of players still in the game. Of course, you will never get that money back. You need to be very, very careful about that. And you can actually try to get these kind of data spending some money in the monetization stage, because you need to be prepared for the global launch and how you can model the budget based on the data you have from the soft launch, because this is the question I usually get, like, okay, so what is going to be the budget for global launch? Well, I don't know. We need to look at the data and then based on that create the budget. So usually I have like three scenarios. Like first is like the minimal budget based on the data I see. So let's say it's 50K. Then there's the adventurous budget based on the data, which can be anywhere from 100K to 500K. And then there is the let's scale this fucking game
dream budget.
And that can be in millions. But we have these three scenarios. It doesn't mean that if you commit to the third scenario and spending 1 million, then you need to spend that. If you see that the content is not ready, then you need to scale back immediately. Well, in this stage, definitely what is really nice to have, like Jakub said, is the live ops systems in place, some kind of in-game offers, events from the content perspective. So you know what you can expect at least a little bit after the global launch. And thanks to the Apple and the IDFA changes, this is the time when you start messing around with the SKA network conversion schema and all these IDFA shenanigans, because usually what I see, and back to the question you asked at the beginning, Felix, the first 24 hours are really important, and sending as many events as possible through the SKA network schema back to the channels is important. And if you can get it right, then you can scale pretty quickly on the iOS side as well. That's what I saw for multiple games, and you can even build prediction models out of the day one numbers. It's pretty hard to do so, but it's definitely possible. So those are the three stages that I use, and encourage all the developers out there to use it as well, to measure the ROAS numbers in the monetization stage, so they can they can expect what the budget will look like and the data will look like after the global launch. Any questions, guys? Comments? Anything?
I'm just wondering, like, obviously you're describing it, you know how to do it, right? How hard is this from a UA perspective? Is this something a CEO could pick up and learn like on the fly, or is it quite difficult actually when you're describing this?
It is quite difficult, but all CEOs and founders should definitely run at least one campaign in their life, just to be able to see how it works.
To dip their toes.
Yeah, to dip their toes. Yeah, I'm not sure if they can like create this strategy and run it by themselves, but they can definitely try. I mean, there's a lot of information out there that they can read, get, but also a lot of professionals out there that they can reach out to. And it's the soft launch UA is harder from the perspective of you're running the UA campaigns in very limited amount of countries, so the CPI is increasing almost every time you run a new campaign. So you need to also think about the creative strategy and how to refresh the creatives really often, like every week. And usually do like every week a new video. But in soft launch, you need even like 2 videos or 3 videos a week because it's a limited amount of countries and the inventory, it's not getting any bigger. So you are massaging those players always like with the creative. So you need to have a new angle every time.
Yeah, I think it's all about those pitfalls that if you are fresh into this, you just don't know that you will fall into. So people with experience will just, live through them so they know because they have already fallen into them before. So I guess that's like the biggest thing you can get.
Times.
But the other part is that still like this thing evolves every time. It's not that you can use the same knowledge from 5 years now. Because
of course. I mean, this is a living organism, and also the same thing applies to global launches.
Yeah. So even now, like we have the SKAd network shenanigans and like the new OS on that part and stuff like that. So it still kind of evolves, and in 2 years maybe you will be doing crypto soft launches. Why not?
Yeah, well, not 2 years. I mean, this year for sure. I mean, I'm very keen on making that happen. I'm not probably end with the great analogy you had last time, Felix, but I don't have any. I don't have any.
No more mushrooms today.
Yeah, no mushrooms today. Unfortunately, you can eat mushrooms for your lunch if you want. But I think that's it, guys. Right? So thank you very much for listening. Please share feedback. Subscribe, share with your friends, colleagues if you find this interesting. If you don't find it interesting, let us know. We can have a discussion about that. And, thank you very much. Bye, guys.
See you next week.
Takže musíme chvíľku počkať. Wait a minute, because I see there is my little girl just shit her diaper.
You had an electronic one?
Electronic diaper?
Machi would turn his daughter into an app.
Like notifications coming from her.
Yeah, notifications coming from my wife.
Do you need to go handle that shit?